Alrighty, hello my friends. How's it going? Let's see who's here. Colin, hello. Jer, Mochin, hello. Funky, hi. How goes it? Let's see. Weiren, hello. Eggy Sando, hi. How's it going? Sunny, hi. Sahas, hello. Not Rashad, yo yo. Hey. Kaiju, hi. How are you guys? Good afternoon. Or maybe good evening, depends on where you are. Or good middle of the night. if it's like the other side of the world, I think right now. Good to see you all. Okay, so today's build, we are checking out a board, a new board from Antipode Studio. Antipode Studio has been around for a while, and I believe their previous release from this one was the Numa, which we got to check out a while back. And this is sort of their new installment called the Logos, and it's, as you can see, it's an FRL, but it's basically 60% with a numpad section. We have a pre-built EC build here right now, with what looks to be DynaCaps parts, and there is of course an MX compatible build that we'll do, and that's over here. I have a polycarbonate plate, some MX blacks, looks to be, it says vintage MX blacks, spring swap, lubed and filmed. It's gasket mounted, and we got some stabs and PCB and all that here. So I always thought that's pronounced Antipode. Maybe you're right. Actually, I'm not sure. Antipode. Antipode? That kind of sounds right. Pronunciation. Let's see. Antipode. 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 You're right. Antipode. No Antipode. Okay. Antipode. Maybe it depends. I wonder if it depends on where you are. Antipode. Antipode. Yeah. Oh, I see. But I guess some people might pronounce it differently because it comes from the ancient Greek Antipodes. Okay. I see. Interesting. Do they offer pre-built EC options? I don't think so. I think it's a DIY process. So if you order a kit, I believe you would have to build it yourself. Yeah, ECPCB by Sipula, and it comes with, I assume, the plate associated for it, but I believe you would have to source your own parts, so I don't think they offer pre-built EC. But don't want to learn how to build Topre? That's fair. You can always ask someone else to do it. But yeah, I mean, it is you know, it is a different process, I guess, from MX. It's not that hard, to be honest, but it is just like distinctly just different. So that's fair. Okay, so yeah, I can show you guys the board first. So I heard that this prototype has traveled around for a while on different parts of the world, and so let's see. Oh, is my autofocus off right now? There you go. There we go. There we go. So here it is. It's an interesting design in terms of it is actually a sort of like a long foot weight sort of thing that puts up a box at an angle. So in a way, it is antipodal in that sense. is strictly speaking like a kind of against the typical logic of a foot, but it's kind of interesting. It's almost like it's like a weight, just like putting up the rest of the board, but pretty neat. The bottom looks like that. It says logos in the middle. It has sort of this, you know, striped pattern finish, just like machined onto this bottom piece. It's quite hefty. I would need to measure how much it weighs. You can see there's 8 bolts putting 2 pieces together for the top piece and this bottom cover with the weight. And then sort of kind of has a more like industrial design sort of element. So you have like a logo here, and then you have some engraving on here. The USB port is on the right side. It's actually kind of centered around the numpad section. So it's a right side USB. Hi there, Lightning. Dropping in for a couple of minutes. Oh, let me know if you have any questions about the board. Yeah, of course. If anybody here actually has any questions for Stewie, and just drop a comment. But yeah, and so it's pretty neat. So actually, the backside engraving pretty much kind of shows you the specs of the board. It says designed in the Netherlands by Stef Wolters. This is Mark 1. And then layout is 60% plus numpad and 6061 aluminum. Oh, there's the weight, so I don't really have to measure it. 3.6 kilograms unbuilt, so it's maybe around like 4 kilos built, so it's quite heavy. And then it says like a definition of logos. An appeal to logic and reason, a means to counter emotional biases and subjective opinions with facts and structure. Pretty cool. So nice little engraving. And yeah, so you know, the profile itself is pretty simple. And you know, on the front side, it kind of has these little divots centered around each of the clusters, sort of kind of just as a little extra aesthetic flair. And there is a very cleanly defined line that actually kind of goes around the up to the top piece to separate these two sections, the numpad and the 60% section. But yeah, so this one's currently built with you know, DynaCap EC with a Cipulot PCB. I haven't tried it, so we can try it out, and then we can go ahead and do the MX build. So I guess I'll just go ahead and plug it in. We'll try typing on the EC, and then we'll switch over to the MX. So get some keycaps. So I got some caps in here. So let me go get that. All right. So actually, just recently got this from Novel Keys. Got a set of GMK Kaiju Dark, the newest round. It's a base kit. Don't have any novelties though, so it's just a base kit. We'll just slap this on and try it out. Catwood, hello, yo, ODM, Zosco, early stream, yeah. Ask Marcia Apiary, she'll do it and curse you at the same time. Does she not like Topper builds? Topper builds are definitely a bit of a process. Pretty neat, comes with a little card. Also, Catwood, happy Saturday. All right. See how it looks. Put these on first. So I think this sounds pretty stock. So if you send some, there is some lube on the stabs, but it does look a little. I think the alignment might not be the most optimal, but so I do hear some spring crunch in there. So if you hear a little bit of that, don't be too surprised. I think it's just supposed to be a fitment, a build to make sure that the fitment and everything is good. You should probably plug it in and check the SIP, flash it first. Oh, okay. If not, I can just type on it without anything. But sure, why not? I'll check and see if it's a SIP PCB. Should be already on VIA. Yep, recognized on VIA. I'll go to switch tester. Actually, it's even programmed already. With oh, okay. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think I need to. Do I maybe need to calibrate it? Board. EC tools. Calibration. Silly Mellow, hello. Warfinger, hi. How's it going? Okay. How was it? You board calibration, you enable it, I think, and then you like press. Oh, wait, yeah, I think you have to like press each of them, right? Unclick, and then okay, and then oh, I don't see it pop up, but it detects on VIA, which is kind of funny, but I don't see the actual I don't see the oh no, oh the actuations do show up. Oh, I see, it's just a show matrix thing that isn't showing up. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's fine then. Yeah, that's working. Okay, perfect. It's just the test matrix thing that I think it's not set up yet. Okay, cool. Great. All right. Sweet. All right, let's put on the rest of these caps now, and let's go from there. Kiwi King. Hello. Don't get to see you often around here, Kiwi. How are you? It's weird to say Kiwi because you know, our cat, his name is Kiwi. He turns around to look at me every time I say it. Oh, hi. He came by just to say hello. Hi. Hey, buddy. Oh, right, I forgot. Oh, good. It's kind of weird, isn't it? It's okay. Cats are cool. Cats are cool. I've always been here. Yeah. You're technically, I guess, I don't know. In whatever cat year translates to human years, I guess he might be older. But in terms of number of years, I guess you've been around for longer. Definitely more OG to the keyword scene, perhaps. Actually, yeah, I think so. Let's go seniority. Yeah. Hi TV, how's it going? was that? 7U? Okay. Wait, no arrows. Short shift, step caps, and 1.5s. So, Kaiju Dark looks like to be, I think it's just standard GMK black colored. So, could be a set that could be neat to mix and match with others. Could be a fun set. Just been chilling in Vegas? Oh, cool. Okay. What keycap set is this? This is Kaiju Dark by Neflock. It's the basically a round 3 Kaiju, and then there were 2 base kits for it. And there was the regular one, which was basically a rerun, and then the dark one, which was this one. And on the dark one, he went with the sub legends are from they're the stylized ones that ran with what was it, Inukuma, I think, GMK Inukuma, the stylized legends. Yeah. Are these switches compared to the other easy options? I've only tried the KLC ones myself. Oh, so I've tried a little bit of DynaCap, but not too extensively. But I mean, I think the ones that usually are in the packs, I think the regular option is supposed to be pretty similar to 45 gram taupe. Maybe slightly lighter. Actually, these ones, I think these are the lighter domes. Now that I'm checking, yeah, these feel lighter than 45. So I think these are the lighter version of domes. But yeah, the DynaCap stuff was like modeled first after like similar to OEM, like in feel, like in terms of like the return on the domes themselves. They're supposed to be like medium tactility. So if you're like not super happy with regular OEM domes, like if you think they're not tactile enough, then these will definitely not be enough for you. But there's like a lot of other options now too, right? Like there's like Astrodomes that I think Blind Assassin recently made, and then I think there's Metakeeps too. But I think the Blind Assassin, the Astrodomes, I think they come in like much more tactile variants now to be like, I think more similar to like BKE Redux, like the ones that Keyclack used to have. So you can find a lot more tactile ones there too. But yeah, for the DynaCap stuff, I've tended to think they tend to err on the side of lighter tactility. They're comfortable to use. They're like soft. But yeah, if you are like a heavy tactile type of person, it might not be your cup of tea. They're pretty consistent and good though. I like the novelty with the DynaCap stuff though is the housings and the sliders that allow you to use cherry profile and like other profiles like MTNU with no interference. So that's the novelty of the DynaCap stuff. It's like that they offer no interference with cherry profile, which is pretty cool. Yeah, Clever's been doing like really good stuff out there. I haven't really paid too close attention to all the third-party EC stuff, to be very honest with you, because I personally am not in the market to buy any third-party EC. That said, like I just kind of hear about it from friends who are like really into the scene. So yeah. Okay, let's give these a try. Gonna be like zoom in a little there. Oh, didn't press. Hello. There we go. humongous window here. Where's that window that opened? Hold on. Stupid chat not chat, typing test window is like not loading the right one. There. Where did that other one go anyway? Didn't see it. Oh, here. Okay. Okay. I like the Blade Runner aesthetic white with this set. Oh. DynaCap has been sounding underwhelming to me in comparison to OEM. I don't know why. OEM does come in very... The thing about OEM is like there's a lot of variability within OEM, to be honest, between like being able to get aged domes from like older OEM boards versus fresh ones. There's quite a lot of variability there. So I would say like the experience with OEM can be pretty underwhelming too. I have a friend who really dislikes like fresh domes on like an HKB like Pro Classic, for example. Like he finds them too like soft and like not very tactile and like very underwhelming in like sound and feel, for example. I don't mind them. I personally 45 gram for me is like the perfect ground, like middle ground for everything. But like there's people out there who actually don't like that. So yeah. I don't do 55 gram. It's too heavy for normal regular use. But yeah, OEM does have a lot of variability, and comparing that to like the third-party stuff that's like coming fresh out of a factory is kind of very different. So I wonder actually how those new alternatives might age over time. Actually, I just wonder what that's going to be like. Overall, I think it's great that there's more options, though. I think that's the best part of the whole EC development in the scene, is that there's just way many more options and they're pretty affordable and easy to get, which is nice. But yeah, I think the novelty of DynaCap more so than the domes, to be honest. It's really in the no interference thing that like Clever worked on, and the fact that like between SIP and like Clever and like, you know, a few of the other people doing stuff in the EC scene, like now you have like EC compatible kits, like, which is something that, you know, it was kind of unthinkable before. So it's pretty cool to see a lot of boards that have enabled EC now, even though like they might have started as MX only. I think that's the best part. But again, you know, I like my EC stuff as like OEM, like in the plastic cases. So yeah. Oh, Antipode, thanks for the Prime sub. Thank you. Yeah. I used the AKB Vera V2 with the KLC EC switches for 2 years daily. I love that board, so third-party EC is cool. It's very nice to switch over to HKB or Nova Touch from time to time. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best part of EC, is that it's so comfortable to just go back to. I think that's easily the best part of EC. It's just comfortable. It's literally easy to like use, and it's kind of just reliable. I don't know. It's just easy and comfortable to use. It's like a good old friend that's just always there. By your side whenever you need it, you know. Anyway, let's try typing on this. Okay, should have unmuted the mic now, and we currently have, this is DynaCap configured EC with GMK Kaiju R3 Dark. I believe these are, Antipode, do you remind of, do you guys, this is a steel plate, right? For the for the plate on here right now. I think it's steel, right? I'm assuming. But yeah, EC build, pretty much stock. So if you feel like it's a little scratchy or you hear a little bit of spring crunch, that's probably why. It's not modded EC. Okay, let's give it a try. These domes throw me off so much. They're so light. They are really light. I think these are definitely like 30 gram level of light. So it's like I'm making a lot of mistakes. Super light feeling domes. But still comfortable. But yeah, a lot of shuff sort of sound. Definitely would be a much maybe a little bit more consistent sound too, and a little bit less of that shuffling sort of sound if it were like modded, like lubed. But it sounds good. It's still pretty comfy to use. Yeah. Actually, I think steel plate is probably the move, personally, but you know, I think everyone kind of differs on where they stand on plates and tobre. But I think for like HKB, it's like its own unique thing. But for any of the larger boards, I think steel plates are totally fine. What domes is it using? I actually don't know the exact domes. I didn't build it myself, so I'm not like super aware. I'm assuming it's what I guess SIP had with the DynaCap parts. Yeah. Okay, let me go through the mods real quick. Yeah, I didn't install these, by the way. So I think these were maybe built by this assembly was maybe done by SIP when test fitting everything, or maybe the design. I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure who put it together, but it was not me. It was already put together in EC form. You know, before it got to me. So we're just trying it out because it was already pre-built. But yeah. But, you know. Pretty comfy. I personally prefer like a lubed tobre experience, but even stock it's like pretty consistent, so it's pretty good. But we will be building MX as well, so we will get to that shortly. Assembled by SIP on stream. I just passed on the board after we got it back from SIP and had it shipped to Lightning. Ah, okay, there you go. Yeah, so I'm not sure if SIP keeps a record of his VODs, but if you ask him, maybe he'll just be like, oh yeah, this is what I used. But yeah, probably was done for test fitment of everything so that it can be good for the group buy. All right, so let's go ahead and open it up, take it apart, and prep the new build, put it in, and go from there. So let's see. So let's go through the bolts here. So it looks like it uses this M2.5 bits. I tried dry lube with RO59. I don't feel like I would like it myself. I actually am not huge on stock topper sound. It's actually, to me, it's slightly like a peeve. Like, I don't really like it. Like topper for me, like the peak experience is like lubed with not a dry cured lubricant like RO59. RO59, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it'll make it nice and smooth, but I don't think I'll like the sound. It's too like plasticky kind of. Yeah, it's just not my thing. Very high pitched. So yeah. What do you think about the USB port placement? So this has a numpad, right? So this is like 60% plus numpad. Like, I could see people preferring a centered, but the thing about center is, so it's actually kind of awkward. I think this placement is actually okay, because I think either here or like here is okay, but like true center could be okay also, but it is a little awkward in terms of like if it were true center to the board, then you ended up with a port right here. If you're centered to the 60% cluster, you ended up kind of here, right? So I feel like these positions are more awkward, perhaps. I mean, for a lot of people's desk setups, though, I guess like true center of the board, like the entire length of the board, is probably okay. But if they were here or here, I think it does work okay on the right side. I actually think there's more tolerance to ports being on the right side of boards than on the left side. I think everyone's kind of varies with their desk setup, but over time, like overseeing people's desk setups, I do feel like there is a little bit more tolerance over right side USB than left side USB. But yeah, true lengthwise center of the board maybe looks kind of awkward. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not a TKL style, so you kind of lose a little bit of that like negative space on the right side. So maybe it might look a little awkward like this, like with a port right here. I don't know. I do think like for layouts like this, typically they'll put them between clusters, right? Like the port, like here, like TKL does that, right? Like they put it between F12 and like print screen, which is like here. Yeah. I think that's what a lot of designers would have probably done, right? Like port right here. But I mean, even centered to the to the numpad section here is actually not bad. It's not a huge distance because the numpad cluster is pretty small. So I think between this and that, it's kind of a tolerable change. Yeah. But yeah, I would say most people will probably say that between clusters is what they would have preferred, or like they pretend to prefer. Especially like the people who use TKLs regularly. We'll say that. I mean, I know that there's been a lot more like TKLs that have centered USB port design because daughter boards are a thing. But yeah, I think that's my preference is actually non-centered for TKL. It's like between clusters, and then for like 60, 65s, centered is fine. For longer layouts like this, I don't know. I think as long as it doesn't feel like it's applying too much stress to like the cable. Like for example, for me, I have like my amp and DAC over here. So if a cable has to go left side, then it kind of collides against stuff. So I personally prefer not having left side USB, for example. And centered, like it's fine, but in some of the really long layouts, it can be a little bit awkward. Okay. So let me show you. So it is a like a gasket sock sort of type of mounting, where you have tabs wrapped with the gasket pieces and then sandwiched between the case pieces. So as you can see, of course, it's weight keyless, and you can see that they are sort of four evenly, like somewhat evenly spaced. Yeah, actually these are evenly spaced on the 60% cluster, and then you have the 4 down here, but avoiding the spacebar area. They're kind of like at the Alt keys for 7U, and then for the numpad you have 2 gaskets on each side, pretty much evenly spaced around the numpad. Okay, so what's kind of unique about this setup is that the plates are separate between the numpad and the main cluster. So you have a separated plate. So effectively, this doesn't affect the build of this one. Doesn't affect this one in terms of how it feels, because they're distinct. They're connected by a ribbon cable, as you can see, and it looks like the USB port is actually built onto the numpad PCB. So the numpad PCB carries the USB-C power and connects to the rest of the board. So so it's a built-on it's an onboard USB instead of a daughter board type of design. But yeah, this one is the EC build. Yeah. Yeah. And so it has these little like PCB tab socks gaskets that just kind of go right on top like that. And yeah. I'm actually, if Antipode, if you're still here, if not, it's okay, but I'm actually not sure what hardness these might be, the gray ones. Looks like I have some 40A ones and some 60A ones. Maybe these are 50A perhaps, right in the middle. I'll take them off. DynaCap, yes, the parts for the EC are DynaCap, yeah. I'm not sure what DOEMs, but the housings and the sliders, as you will see, are indeed oops, this is not focusing. Are indeed DynaCap parts. Yeah. So pretty nifty. I'm gonna take off the ribbon cable just so it doesn't catch on anything by accident. Okay, let me show you the bottom portion. So the bottom portion sort of has these like cuts for acoustics, and then little slots for the gaskets to sit in. They're clear, so probably light domes. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. They're like light, translucent, gray, translucent, clear. Yeah, the domes. Yeah, it's probably the 35-gram ones. Yeah, yeah. They felt pretty light to me, so I would bet on it. But yeah. There's a bottom design, cuts for acoustics, has an engraving that says the designer name and the studio, and then we have a pretty hefty. Is this perhaps steel? Not sure. I'll double check that with the product page. And weight basically attached as a foot that elevates the entire design to that typing angle, with a bunch of the bolts on the bottom case. Pretty, in terms of the design, fairly straightforward to understand. Yeah. Let's see. Does it say large angled weight, but does it say what material it is? Copper or brass bottom weight that are clear coated or e-coated depending on the version. Ah, okay, there you go. So you can have brass with black e-coating or copper with clear coat for the weight material. Yeah, pretty nice. The e-coat actually looks really clean on this. This is like really nicely done E-coat. Like I can, like, that's, it's like textured, but it's like it's pretty nicely done. The like consistency and the texture is really good on this. It's a nice E-coat. Pretty nice and even. I mean, it's slightly dirty right now, probably because it's been moving around like different places, but like it's pretty good. It's really nice. Okay. Are there silencing rings? I believe the DynaCap stuff came with the rings, right? If I recall correctly. Yeah, I'm assuming, because the way they sound like it's a silenced. Okay, I think these are extra bonbons. So, okay, so I'm gonna need stabs, switches. Here's my polycarb plates for the build, MX build. And then PCB, I'm gonna put these gaskets to the side. Here, here. Yeah, the DynaPacks come with 0.5 silicone rings. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of the kits right now offer silencing rings right off the bat. That's part of the design, actually, in the case of, I think, DynaCap and a few others. But yeah. Let's see. Is this, did I hear anything? Let me test. Is this flashed? It might not be, actually. I didn't hear anything. Oh well, it's okay. I'll still build it, put it together. Let's see. I'm gonna take off my ribbon cable for now. So that I don't catch it accidentally on anything. There's like tape put on here to keep them together so that I guess they don't like shear off the shear off any components, onboard components. Okay. Just need a pair of these guys to take them off properly. Okay, PCB and the other one. Okay, so put it together. So let me get my usual building foam. Interesting concept of no arrow keys, but it has a numpad. Yeah, it's sort of like a, you can think of it like the 96 key ones that back in the day we used to have, and then just no arrow, right? Yeah. Oh, is this the black? This looks like gray to me, but it's pretty dark, right? I think this gotta be gray, right? It's a pretty dark gray though, because you can compare it actually to this bottom piece. This bottom piece is black. This bottom piece is definitely black, but this is certainly lighter than that. So I'm assuming this is the gunmetal gray top. The color offerings are the neutral 3, which is silver, black, and gray, essentially. This top is not available in the sale. Ah, okay. So it is not representative of what the sale colors are. It is not the gunmetal top. Oh, okay. Good to know. So how does is it? Yeah, it does have a bluish hue though. So it's like blue-gray, sorta. It's always confusing with blues and grays because there are people who sell keyboards that they say is gray, but they clearly have a bluish hue on them, and they're not advertised as blue-gray, and so it's sometimes it's a little confusing. Okay, let's see. So steps. We'll do split right and the rest, and then I'm gonna need 3 for the numpad, right? Okay, so this color is not representative of those in the sale. Okay. Maybe I'll put a note on that on the VOD once I publish it. Okay, 3. Right, I want to see the gunmetal. Oh yeah, that would be good. Oh, these are clip-ins. They're not screw-ins. I thought the Maiz were screw-ins this whole time. The stabs. These are clip-ins. Oh, cool. Okay, I will correct that in the build command shortly. So 2, 3, 4, and then. Count. I think I'll need these guys. Little stickers on the side. Hey Diego, have you tried a raw polished alu case? I have handled some that people owned. It can get ugly over time. Like, it can pick up, like, especially, like, if you tend to have, like, a very greasy hands or, like, or anything like that. It can pick up, like, marks and stuff. I would say, generally speaking, like, unless your environment is, like, really grimy, it will do fairly well. In terms of tarnish, like I've seen a good amount of keyboards that people have kept like over years with raw units, and they've frankly kept pretty well over time. I expected like instantly like tarnished cases, but they've frankly looked pretty good over many years. Like, many years, I'm saying, like, when was a raw trend sort of like more of a thing? Maybe like in the past like 5 years, or maybe like 3-year-old cases or so. I've noticed that they're in pretty decent shape. So I would say the tarnish doesn't build as quickly as you might think, but it will tarnish for sure. It definitely depends on your environment, because if you live like in a very humid location, like, I mean, great example honestly is if you live like in Southeast Asia or something like that, or like in an environment that's just always humid, humidity will like 100% accelerate the tarnishing, like changing humidity. So yeah. I would say they do turn, you know, ugly slash tarnish over time, but it's not nearly as quick as most people would say. Yeah, it's a very environmental factor dependent thing. I think I've, like, at least from the case I've seen, they've looked pretty good for their age. Yeah. But, I mean, if you're getting a raw case, you're kind of assuming that it's going to tarnish. So, you know, just go in knowing that, and I think you'll be okay. It won't be that fast, though. Unless you're, like, really dirty and grimy about how you handle your boards, and you're, like... Or if you're, like... There's some people who are, like, constantly doing this. Like, they're, like, constantly touching the case. Or, like, people who, like, rest their, like, this part of their hand, like, close to the wrist. They'll, like, do this a lot. Or, like, this a lot. And I've seen, like, people... Like, I've seen, like... I mean, even anodized cases, I've seen, like, faded ano or, like, faded portions of cases of people just, like, handling it constantly in a very specific way. Over, like, many, many years, right? I'm talking, like, you know, between, like, 5 and 10 or whatever. I've seen... Well, actually, I've seen some cases of maybe the anodizing itself wasn't good quality, and so the fading happened more quickly, like, within the 5-year period. But I mean, it takes time. But if you have habits like that, and you know, you don't wash your hands frequently, or you handle stuff that's, like, typically greasy or things like that, then yeah, it's gonna accelerate the problem. I generally keep pretty clean around my boards and stuff, and I haven't experienced that really, like fading or anything like that. But with raw, I've seen like tarnish cases, but generally speaking, I would argue that they are not nearly as tarnished as I thought they would be over a certain period of time, like 2-3 year period of time. Because frankly, I would have expected a lot worse, but they've held up pretty well. Yeah. You know, maybe before I actually do all the steps, I'm gonna edit that build command and add a little clause that basically says that the color from today's build is not representative of the current offerings in the group buy. Where is it? Oh, okay, there. Maybe I'll do that now so that I don't, like, let's see, where should I put it? Maybe at the end. The top case color for today's prototype is not representative of a GB offered of a GB run color. Is that okay? I think that's fine. Does Dio have the production PCB? I want to check if it has a caps LED. I can check for you. Is this a production PCB? I think it doesn't have some, like some support that I think is on the website too, because, let me see, scroll down, MX plate layout. It says stepped and regular caps, but this one right now only has regular caps, so I'm assuming it's a prototype. Split and right shift, split backspace is there, split right shift is there. There's no ISO, which also is not offered on the plate. And then 7U fixed bottom row. But yeah, it's it doesn't offer step cap, so I think this is not the final version. It doesn't have any LED support though. On any part of the board. That's for DFU reset. For the numpad section, looks like we have split plus, split enter, and split zeros, but no LEDs on the numlock either. Yeah. I feel like adding one LED support is honestly not so bad for the lock keys, like caps and numlock. Tends to be like a common addition. But I don't know. It's definitely something, the question that could be asked towards the PCB or keyboard designer. Step caps is added to, yeah. Of course, I would expect the step caps to be added to production PCB, yeah. But do you guys expect to add any LED support for lock keys? I'm not sure if that's high importance, but yeah. I guess something to note for people who might want it. It's a caps lock or numlock LEDs. Sometimes are people want them, or people like them. Yeah. Oh, looks like I just hit ads. Unfortunate. Never liked them. I wish I could just get rid of them altogether, but I don't think Twitch lets anyone do that. Once you hit affiliate or partner. Oh, I should also fix the build command to represent stabs are Maiz clip-ins, actually. Clip-ins. Actually, I don't know who designs these. I only know the product exists. Don't really know who makes the Maiz stabilizers. Like what factory or brand. But I have no idea, they've been around for a little bit now. LEDs were not considered originally. Which keys would be desired to have that? Usually people will sometimes like them just on the caps lock. For caps, like the people who actually like using caps lock on caps lock. And numlock. I think numlock would be a good addition because the board, some people actually use the numpad secondary stuff for numlock. So caps lock and numlock is usually the ones that people will go for. Scroll lock is very rare because it's a pretty, it's not a function that people regularly use, in my opinion. But yeah, caps lock and numlock, I think a lot of people still use it, especially those who actually use the layouts. Yeah, and it would just be a single colored LED, like 2 pins. I'll throw it into Cosmos and see what I can do. Nice. Well, there you go. The Cosmos of feedback. Sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't happen, which is, I guess it's fine. Just do your best. It's time to put all the, ooh, that's a lot. All the wires. Wow, this is cool. Hey, JC. How are you? Oh, by the way, did you get your package? I'm not sure. It said it was out for delivery. Might be. Kind of early, actually. I was surprised. Genuinely surprised. Sometimes packages kind of teleport across the US. And it was not DHL, so. Not yet, I'm waiting by my door. Yeah, apparently it's, I mean, well, it said out for delivery today, so, you might get it today. Maybe your courier delivers later at night for priority mail, so. Usually, at least for me, I don't know how it is for you, but for me, if it's priority mail, they'll deliver, it's a separate courier, like it's a separate person. The person who delivers the small mail, like the mailbox mail, is different from the one who delivers packages. So sometimes they come in pretty late. I think my like mail stuff sometimes like will come in like midday, early morning, or like midday. But like for packages, like I've gotten packages as late as like 8 p.m. which is pretty late for USPS, to be honest. I'm like, damn, that's working really late. But I think every region is very different with how they handle their postal services. Okay, a lot of wires because we got 7 stabs today. Anyway, how are y'all doing on this weekend? It's actually kind of nice out. It's sunny, but it was a little windy, to be honest. It was a little cold. It is spring already, but it was feeling a little brisk this morning. We went out to eat earlier this morning. We went out to like the Flushing area. So in New York City, you know, damn it. Just dropped that insert. I don't know where it went. Rolled somewhere. I'll find it in a sec. Give me a sec. I'm gonna find that. Just rolled under something, I think. Probably rolled under this chair. That's the same for me. I saw it's out for delivery this morning. They've been looking. Usually I get here really early and I start typing on the board. Yeah. Oh, here it is. It's here. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'll unclip this one actually. Redo that. But yeah, we were out in Flushing. So we're just out to get Chinese food. We were craving jianbing, which is like the folded egg. It's almost like a, you know, it's like northern style Chinese like crepe sort of. It's really yummy, but we're kind of craving that, so we got that. Some soy milk, and then we picked up some tea and some dumplings for later from one of the big dumpling shops there. Just got a big pack of frozen ones so that we can just cook them later. I walked around for a bit. It was nice, but yeah, a little windy today, despite it being nice and sunny. Kind of hoping, honestly, that the cold dies out already, because I'm kind of tired of the winter now. I'm just doing chores. And then we did the stream. And yesterday, I was out with some friends. We got together to have dinner and play some board games. It took us like, after having dinner, I had like food coma basically. And it took us like 40 minutes just to like get through the instructions of this board game, because no one like was in the mood to read the instructions. We were like so KO'd from the food. But it was pretty good. The game itself was fun. I played a game called Steam Power. It's a fun game. It's like about it's kind of like there's like different maps. It's like 2 to 5 players, I think, and you basically build railroads between cities, and you can build like factories at each city, which gives you like a specific type of resource. Like there's like different colored resources, and then you essentially, the goal is to like fulfill these things called contracts, which basically is like getting a certain resource of a certain kind, like specific resources. Like it'll be like, oh, get like 2 orange resources, 2 white resources, and 2 purple resources or whatever, and then you fulfill a contract, which gives you like money and then like a special bonus. And then if you fulfill enough of them, then the game ends, and the point, like whoever has the most points wins. But the tough part of the game is like at the beginning, everyone's kind of rushing to build all their railroads and factories and stuff, so people can cut you off, and you basically, the way you get resources that you don't have in your cities is you buy them from other people and transport them into your own railroad system. Yeah, but it's kind of a game that has like no luck involved. It's mostly like planning and attention to the board. So it's, I guess it's kind of like a Euro style board game. It's pretty good. Pretty fun. Not sure if any of you guys are into board games, but yeah. Recently been on the board game kick. Been playing a bunch of Baldur's Gate as well. So yeah. Alright. Okay, let's see. What's going on? Oh, okay. Whew. Not thirsty. Okay. 2 more. Okay. Hey, Ninewalker. How's it going, man? How's your weekend? Weekend's good. I was actually telling about it just earlier. Yesterday, did dinner and board games with friends, and then this morning we went out to Flushing in Queens to get jianbing and some dumplings and some tea. It's pretty good. Actually, kind of like got up early and was pretty productive today. Usually, like we tend to like sleep in on the weekends, but this morning actually kind of productive, which was kind of rare, I guess. Like usually, yeah, just sleep in and stuff, but yeah. Kiwi woke me up kind of early today. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. So kind of varies. Yo, Frank, how's it going, dude? Thanks for the 42. How are you, man? Good to see you. How are you, dude? What's cooking? How's the weekend? You guys have nice weather out in California today? Here it's like sunny. It's like nice and clear out, but it's like a little windy, so it's kind of cold. Well, like you feel the cold if you're like in the shade and like walking around. So it's like not quite spring yet. Like it's starting to warm up, but not quite there yet. Oh, hi Kiwi. Yeah, what's up? Oh, yeah. Oh, you're getting hungry? Let me see. It's almost this. I guess it's. Oh no, wait. He starts to ask for it early, so he's starting to beg early today. Summer is coming. Okay. Hold your horses. Do not give me summer. I do not want summer here. No summer. No summer. Spring. No summer. I hate the summer. Well, no, I don't. Okay, I dislike the summer a lot, especially a humid and hot summer. Don't like them. Spring, great. Sunny, warm, nice. Good weather, flowers, trees, birds. It's great. Summer, hot, humid, disgusting. Oh, Kiwi. Oh my God. No. Do not touch that. Hi. Can you like be careful? Oh my gosh, Kiwi. Hold on. Oh my God, Mr. Kiwi. Let me finish lubing this stab, please. Okay, do not eat that. You can sniff it, but do not consume. Oh my God, you're so desperate. God. Hi, baby. Hi, good boy. I'm gonna grab this from under you. The Crytox cat came for the staff content. Oh, Kiwi. I actually prefer the summer. I know a lot of people who really like summer. I am not one of those people. I'm so sorry. I enjoy summer activities, but I am not a summer person. Okay, before I pet you, Kiwi, I'm gonna wash my hands because I do not want to like put Crytox on you, okay? Oh my gosh. Alright, lads, I'm gonna drop out now. Okay. Stewie, thanks for stopping by. Thank you. It was 105 for me in Palm Springs yesterday. Oh my God. Oh, hello. Oh, bye, Kiwi. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. One sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's hot AF. Oh. Building for logo? What do you mean? Oh, no. The keyboard is called logos. Logos. Like the Greek word for like reason and logic. Bring back winter? No, I'm done. I'm done with winter. No more. We had like 2 big snowstorms. It's good enough. Good enough. I mean, they didn't last long on the ground, but I'm good. I'm good. 82F the high for me today. That's pretty nice actually. 82F high is not bad. Can you show the board real quick? Oh yeah, of course. I just took it away because I need to make space for stuff, but it's right here. So it's 60% plus numpad, and it has this really heavy brass weight underneath. Right now the pieces are taken apart, so that's why I'm holding it like this. And looks like that. There is it's like a box, and then the angled part is from the weight. So it kind of gives you an angled board like this. Sorry, it's like a little dirty from the... But yeah, pretty neat. Yeah, 60 plus numpad. It's pretty interesting. I'll show the board more in detail, you know, later. Let me just get through the stabs and then it'll be good. A lot of fur. Spring and fall only, never enough. Yeah, I mean, so the thing about spring and fall is also like the nice part of them only comes for like a few weeks and then it's gone, because they're like the transition period. So it's like fall might be like too cold so suddenly, and then, or like, you know, like coming from the summer, it's like still hot towards a part of the fall, and then you get like a nice period of time where you have like 2 weeks max, or maybe sometimes like 3 days, and then it gets like rainier and disgusting. But yeah, the spring is the same. Too cold at the beginning, windy or whatever, and then suddenly it turns nice, and then suddenly it starts getting really humid, and it's like, oh, great. So yeah, it's never enough, that's for sure. Especially, I mean, if you live in a place with, you know, 4 seasons or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Alright, we got a nice semi-translucent polycarb plate. Got some MX blacks here. It's still feel kind of heavy. Maybe it's heavier spring than I'm used to. Smells like up-hung bees. What the fuck is that? What is that? What is that even supposed to mean? That's not a daring run. No, no, no. Are you talking about like the brand? No. Actually, why do these switches have different colored films? Some of these, they're just like put in the same bag or something. I'm gonna just pick out the ones that have the same color ones because I'm assuming that's from the same batch. Like some of these have black films or clear films, and some of these have whiter ones or something. It's so confusing. I guess we'll see. We'll find out. Antipode wrote earlier that their old batch he found. Oh, okay. I guess I'll just do the sorting for them. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, they are all lubed and spring swapped and whatever and filmed. They're just like, it's just kind of like not sure which ones are which because I do see different colors on this. On the films. Hopefully enough for everything. I didn't know they would be like this. Let's see. Be that maybe I'll do the sorting first. Actually, it's easier to sort by the film color. There's like 3 different ones, but looks like there's enough of the 2, so it should be okay. I might have to swap those ones with the clear ones. I think there's more of those than there's any of the other ones. We'll see. Yeah, I think there's more of those. So we'll see. We'll see. Can't tell. Sorry, I'm out with friends. Just came back in. What's wrong with the switches? Oh, I'm just noticing that they have different colored films, and so I'm not sure if they're different, modded or not, so I'm just splitting them by piles. If they're the same, then it's fine, but they don't want to accidentally use some that were different from the rest, so that they're like consistently batched together. If you know. I see like some white films and some clear films and some black films, but I'm not sure if you tend to distinguish between them. I do, personally, so I think I'm gonna go with the clear in the main cluster and with the black ones on the numpad. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to go about it. I'm not sure which one that is. I think they're probably the same, but who knows? Yeah, that's why I'm gonna play it safe. I'm just gonna do same film, probably means same batch of switches lubed. So like at a given point in time. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm basically done. So yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm done sorting them. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think I don't have enough for these. I'm actually gonna take these off. Sorry. Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. TX had different colored films. Yeah. So I actually think these white ones, there's enough of them for the numpad. It's like at least 20. Yeah. I'll do that. Okay, so I think I have the most of these. So let's do these here. Slightly bent pin. These are, yeah, these seem to be vintage. They have the old Cherry logo on them. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's test the stabs too while I'm at it. Feels kind of tight. Let's see. No rattle though. Okay, that's good. Okay. Feels a little tight. Okay. All right. I think that's good. It was a gamble to ship these Maiz stabilizers. What do you think so? Do you because you haven't tried them enough kind of thing? I know many don't like them. They have a quieter top out sound because they have these they have like a little, I don't know what to call it. Is it like a film sort of thing installed on the inside, sort of like a built-in way to prevent the ticking noise. So that might be why some people don't love that, but it kind of depends. Sometimes a quieter build is okay. So it definitely varies. Like what your preference might be. Exactly short one here. Fine. Oops. You were talking about the films on old cherry stabs? No. No, I was not. I was not talking about cherry stabs. These springs feel kind of heavy. On the heavier side. Yeah. Let's do these guys now. This way. I'm 98% sure I would never mix different sort of switches. I just think these were lube at a time when I had a bunch of packs of TX films with various colors and love to use them here. Yeah, I've done it before. So yeah, I would imagine. It's all good. least the springs do feel pretty similar. Okay. These are all the same now. Put these in here. Maybe I'll grab one of the little baggies from earlier. This one. Put these guys in here. Diego, on numpads, I split the plus and put equal on R1. I'm not sure why that's not popular. I would say it's just the way the standard 104 key, like 101 and 104 key, has gotten popularized in just general use. I would say like nothing to do with mechanical keyboards, but I would say general use. I think the regular 104 full size was popularized in such a way where the long plus key and the long enter key and the long 0 key were in the norm. So I think that's why, really. It's just like kind of how like standard ANSI full size boards were like became popular over time. That said, yeah, like if you look at vintage stuff, if you look at other layouts like 1800 style where they split the plus key, for example, you'll have some variability there in terms of like what layout exactly they have, but like they'll have like split keys in those cases. But arguably the most popular is with 2Us on everything. Yeah. Yeah. Let me grab a couple of the isn't equal a really useful key to have though. It is a useful key to have on a standalone numpad. I do. Oh wait, I put it on the actual numpad over here. But the issue I would say is that a lot of numpad users don't use a numpad as a standalone. Like they will prefer to have the numpad as part of the main board, which means that they already have an equals key from somewhere else. Like the main cluster, so they are probably used to being like, you know, typing on Excel spreadsheet, equal sign, move to numpad, do the calculation, press enter, go typing, do it again, and so on and so forth. So I think it might just be a habit, perhaps. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it is useful. I would say like it makes sense to have the equals key solely on the numpad for convenience sake. Because it's just right there and you'll have the numbers right there and everything. Why it's not popular, I imagine it's just because the full size in the way it stands with the 2Us is the norm now. Like it's just more common. Yeah. So I would argue the reason is really that in the way current keyboards have become popular, it's just been the case where you don't have them split up. Or you don't have that like duplicate equals key from the on the numpad section. Yeah. It's hard to say. I mean, these things are hard to explain because I would imagine it's just a mix of factors of what layouts became popular in the world of computing as computers started developing and becoming more of a common good in the average household. Like computers at some point were a luxury product, and you know, eventually they became more commodified as it became cheaper to produce, and materials started to change as companies started to standardize things, and yeah, I guess the full size as we know it, like the ANSI 104, 101 key full size is it became the norm, and that's just the layout it is. Is that Moto 1? Yeah, this is GMK Modern Dolch, the first run. Okay. Alright, time to solder, my friends. Looks great without Dixie mods. Yeah, I actually did have like the new Dixie mod on 9009 R3 and 8008 when they first came out, the first two sets ish that had them, and I couldn't get used to it. I actually do have sets with them still, like I think Bingsu R1 I think had them. Yeah, but thank God Bingsu R2 came out with text icons, so I use those now. Yeah. Yeah, I still kind of feel like they're a little jarring. I actually feel like the only reason they're kind of more jarring looking to me, it's because of the lack of stuff on the actual key. Like, it's just the icon and it's centered, and there's like nothing on the rest of the key for like the long modifier keys, and so I think that's what it looks off to me. It's like the shifts. Hate that he went on that trend. I mean, I think when the reasoning was first out, it kind of made sense, or like at least from the perspective that he was coming in from, you know, in terms of like why do some keys have legends that have centered legends, and why do some others, like, you know, like vertically centered legends, and some aren't? Like, some are and some aren't. Like, it kind of, yeah, and from that point of view, it was like, oh yeah, actually, you know, why is that? So that's why I actually genuinely gave it a try when it first came out on 9009 R3. I was like, oh yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about it until I see it in person. So I did, and then I was like, oh, okay. Now that I've tried it and seen it, I kind of realize that I think what makes them look odd, especially when you already have a norm, like the original modifier style, when you put it side by side with those, or when you look at those for a while and then you switch to these and then you switch back, you realize that I think what looks awkward about vertically centered aligned modifier legends is, especially like icon only, is the fact that the legend occupies so little space of the key, and then you have a lot of empty space, which makes it look really awkward when you have top left justified or aligned alphanumeric characters. I think that's why it probably looks really weird. It's just kind of like an awkward juxtaposition of the modifiers and the alphanumeric keys. But at the beginning, I was genuinely open to seeing what it was like to have them center aligned. I didn't mind it at the beginning. I was like, okay, yeah, let's give it a try. I think it makes sense. The reasoning is there. Like, the hypothesis is there. It's like, what would it be like to have those? And then after I tried it, I was like, okay, I think I do prefer the original way of doing the top left align more. But I mean, there's some pushback to some community members, but excuse me, and some of my community members don't mind, so I think that kind of you know, differentiates, I guess. Oh, one of my keys fell off. Oh, here. But yeah, it's kind of the same way about with the, like, like dual shot or botanical round 2. Like, they have the text icon caps lock. It's the same. Like, from like the design point of view, it's like, why is caps lock the only key that gets a text legend only? But the rest get a text and an icon, you know, like an icon and a text. And then when you try to put a text and an icon on a 1.75U key like that, specifically on a 1.75U key that has 2 words on it, it says caps lock. It's pretty awkward spacing wise. And the same reasoning goes for if you do the legend just caps, like one word, like caps for caps lock as an abbreviation of caps lock, it also looks awkward because then you're kind of like, oh, like it's a 4-letter word, looks really short and awkward. And so I think that's, I don't know, it's just a jarring aspect of having that, knowing that you know what it's supposed to say. I think if it had been a fresh concept, then sure, but when you know what it's supposed to say and then you compare it to that and you kind of think about it, it's a little awkward. But the step caps is, I mean, I personally, yeah, I do agree. The step caps is like a crime. Like, it's so crammed onto the key. Like, it's so little space, and it really looks like the legends are about to fall off, which does not make it look too good. But yeah, I mean, again, it's a personal choice, subjective aesthetically speaking. I'm not a huge fan just because of all the aforementioned reasons. It's just kind of awkward when you know, and so it gives a very why fix it when it's not broken kind of thing. But I think it was fine that he's like that they were at one point hypothesized or suggested and brought to reality, and then people can actually see for themselves how they feel about it. I think that's fine. I think that's actually kind of cool. Like that, I think people should have the courage to do that. People should have the courage to challenge conventions and be like, oh, I'm going to try something different. If it's nothing that I like, I will revert. Actually, a good example of this that I know of in the community is actually, you guys know Zambamon, right? Designer of Serica, Chocolatier, you know, Purple Knight, a bunch of other sets, right? Nautilus, right? So Zambamon actually did something back in the day when he was still working a lot with like Drop, with Mass Drop at the time, which was making TKL only base kit compatibility, like TKL and like small layouts, like basically taking off the numpad from base. And back then it was like an experiment, and because it was like, it depends on the number of units sold because it's like an economies of scale sort of thing. And essentially the result of that was that you save money on not paying for a numpad, right? Like you can do like sub $100 base kits that are like numpad less. But what happens is that that assumes that you need to sell a large number of kits, of base kits. And the people who actually want a numpad need to pay like $50 or like whatever it is, a very expensive price to get it, because now that you have split the SKUs, like the unique kits, you have much fewer numpad kit buyers, which makes it scarce, right? Like, which makes it like less common in the market. And also you assume that they have purchased during the group buy period, right? So, which is unlikely. Not everybody purchased during group buys. So you've put fewer out there. It's harder actually to stock those TKL only base kits in like a store and sell them, and also sell out of the child kits. So it kind of, as a requirement, you need to have a big sale of base kits. Like, it's worth splitting numpad from the rest if you're selling a lot of kits, because you're putting enough kits out there in the market that when the demand crops up again for those numpad kits or like whatever, there's enough to cover that. But what happens when you have a small supply of them is that numpad users get shafted big time for for the sake of supposed savings of money for the people who don't use a numpad. And it's not that worthwhile. So I think after that, Zambamon actually reverted all his kitting to not be numpad-less unless it were truly warranted, which, essentially like right now you don't have that much. Like we don't have sets selling like thousands of kits, you know, like it's not that common anymore. And it doesn't make sense in the way GMK prices their products. Kitting is not linear, unfortunately, and the way like kitting works better with GMK when you have a chunkier base kit that is covering a lot of compatibility, and actually get the quote that you'll get from GMK is going to be a pretty good amount of savings for that, because they can kind of produce all in one go for those kits. And child kits tend to suffer a lot if you end up having a lot of kits. Like it's Signature Plastics actually operates sort of in the opposite direction, where for them it makes more sense, or like for their particular business model, it makes more sense for kit designers to make kitting that is multiple smaller kits rather than one big kit, because one big kit actually turns up to be really expensive at low MOQ. And also it's because the MOQ for Signature Plastics starts much lower than for GMK. Like GMK stock color even sets are 150 minimum for like the base colors, and 250 if you're using any custom colors. So it starts at a much higher bar to pass. So yeah, kitting works just very differently between the companies, between like different keycap producing companies, and so you want to be aware of that when you're doing any kit design. And I think it's important for like designers to be aware that there are limitations to certain strategies. Like the splitting the numpad is really truly not an effective strategy for a set that does not guarantee a large number of sales for the base kit, because it brings about other complications in the process. So yeah. BKSP, oof, yeah, backspace. Yeah, that also, like, the abbreviation for backspace on Botanical and other sets like that is also, yeah, like, it was, it looks pretty awkward, because it's like the one key that gets abbreviated like that when others aren't, so it looks really awkward too. It's such a long one word to be abbreviated. It's like a compound word, right, like backspace, but it's a single word technically, at least as far as like the legends are concerned. So yeah, pretty awkward to abbreviate it with 4 consonants like that. A friend gifted me his R2 backspace from Botanical R1, made R2 usable for me. Yeah. I think, yeah, yeah, I mean, there's a reason I don't have Botanical or Dual Shot, even though I actually really like those 2 colorways quite a lot. I think they're great, both of them, color-wise and just like the theme. They're both great, but yeah, I don't use them for the same reason, or I don't have them for the same reason. Okay, just gonna double check that all my keys are properly soldered, especially because between the plates here, sometimes the keys can also be, the switches don't quite sit all the way flush, so just double checking that. Both sets use text plus icons. There's no change in those. Well, only the caps lock. Yeah. But I think, you know, I use caps lock like as the key on that slot, so it kind of looks really awkward for me. So yeah, I don't really like that. I probably dislike that the text icon caps lock more than I dislike centered modifiers. Not gonna lie. It truly makes it look so cramped and weird. dump out one is done. Just double check here now. I think this one might need a slight reflow. Like this. Oh, I didn't solder the spacebar key. Good catch, I guess. Okay, I think it looks good. Oh, this one might need to reflow slightly. Okay. Alright, hopefully we're good. Let's see, because the first thing is we can put that ribbon cable, right? How was it done? I think I'm gonna double check. Hold on. The okay. Okay, is the blue tape up? Okay, it's always double check though, just in case. Some designers sometimes can do it the opposite way. I don't want to mess it up. But yeah. Okay. Okay. And then this one. Ribbon cables. Never like them, but sometimes they're a necessary evil. To be fair, they are replaceable, so that's nice. Okay. I am terrible at the properly put on the. Okay, I think I got that. Now, let's just take this aside for a sec. Make sure. Oh wait, I said that it might not be flash, right? I think I did say that at the beginning of the stream. I don't think this might be flashed actually. So I'll just use it like that. Okay, that's fine. Let's just assume it works, but it's not. I don't think it's flashed, the MX PCB. I don't have the file for it though, so we're just gonna type gibberish. Okay. Oh, hi Kiwi. For the gaskets, I want to try using the harder ones because we have a polycarb plate, and with a polycarb plate I tend to prefer using harder gaskets for these. So let's give these a try. So I have 68 gaskets paired with a soft polycarb plate. Put those on. Pretty simple assembly with these. Something I actually do appreciate with these gasket builds is that way easy to build, way easy to put together when it's like this. Yeah. So. Okay, very nice. Looks like we have an extra. And all right. Make sure they line up, sandwich together, nice. Okay, nice and easy. Let's get my screws now. Are these the same length? Yes. Okay. There it is, all together. Now let's You can just use the Kaiju set that we had. I think it looks pretty good, so let's try it on. Okay. Oh, this one feels a little tight. Okay. I own DualShock, but I don't mind in that case. I'm using the PS1 novelty. Oh yeah, if you have the novelty, that's actually not bad. Non-step cap. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, because the step one does say PWR for power. I need to remember that too. Oh, regular caps on this. Hi Diego, have you tried PCB snaps or key snaps? Not yet, actually. I actually bought some from DiviniKey a while back, but I didn't like get to try it like in detail. No. I know some people who like it as replacements for like the other, like, you know, like the O-ring style stuff, but no, I haven't tried it. Actually, I thought it could be fun to try. Yeah. My FKM PCB snap is really growing on me. I think that's the one I bought. That's a black one, right? I think I bought that one. Yeah, stiff black one. Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I purchased the stiffer ones. Because I tend to prefer, for gasket mount, I tend to prefer the stiffer gaskets because it kind of balances out with like my usual choices of plates, which tend to be like either aluminum or softer. So yeah. And I feel like for gasket mount, like going softer is fine. So yeah. Can't remember the last time I used regular caps. That's fair. I tend to prefer using stepped myself, but the reason we have regular is because the PCB, this one, the prototype PCB here, didn't have step cap support, but they're adding it for the production, so no biggie. Yeah. Maybe let's put an artisan. Oh man, I'm sure this one would work. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't think this is flashed, this PCB. This is a prototype PCB, but I don't think it's flashed. It didn't like register on my computer just now. Does it even show up on QMK though? It's the real question. It didn't show up even on QMK, so I don't think, yeah, maybe it's just not flashed. That's fine. It's no biggie. It's built up at least, so. Let's try it out. So let's see. I think I already had a window for this. Yeah, nice. So zoom that in a little, and wait, did I? Nice dust mat, thanks. Yeah, carbon dust mat, pretty nice, right? I'll plug in the cable anyway, just so you can actually see where it is. Like you can kind of see that it's placed over here. Shouldn't do anything. And I'll put that there. And yeah, let's give this a shot. I'm just gonna type random letters, so you won't see it actually on the screen on the top thing here. You won't see it me typing. I'm just gonna type random words from there, and maybe I'll open a random like page with stuff, and like it'll be fine. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's try it out. We have the Antipode logos, this time built with an MX build. The MX build right now is, I think, vintage MX blacks. I'm actually not sure about the springs or the lube, but they kind of feel like similar to 205 and TX films, like medium amount of lube. Spring weight feels kind of like maybe like 68 gram or so, maybe a little heavier, I'm not sure. Definitely not the original MX Black weight, but a little heavier than I'm personally used to, so probably like 68 or 72. And we have GMK Kaiju R3 Dark on it. So let's give it a try, okay? Here we go. I ran out of thoughts. Yeah, the spacebar kind of has like a little slapping sound, huh? I think the switches are kind of lubed on the heavier side, so they're kind of quiet. The top out sound is on the quieter side on these, compared to some of the MX blocks that I tend to use, which I personally lube very lightly, which tends to end up on the drier and higher pitch side. So it's just the switches, I think. And the polycarb plate is pretty soft on this one. This mounting method actually does lend to a very softing, it's like soft typing experience. Like I can see some movement here, and the gaskets, while they are firm, they are avoiding the spacebar region. So I think the spacebar might be moving a lot more than in like the Topper case that we tried, like the EC case that we tried with the stainless steel plate. I actually feel like MX blacks on alu would be really good on this. But on the polycarbonate, even with the 68 ones, they do feel on the soft end for typing feel. But I think aluminum or even carbon fiber would like be really good for this particular mounting method. All right, or you could also try like tactiles with a polycarbonate plate or something like that. All right, let me go through the mods real quick. Here are the mods. Yeah, these switches definitely on the slightly quieter side of things, from my experience. I soldered them in, so I can't really replace them easily, like for like I would for hot swap. But definitely a little quieter with the lubing that was done in the switches. But I would also assume that the polycarb plate movement is also dampening the sound a little bit. But sounds pretty good. The only thing I would say is there is some resonance on the sides, like edges of the case. You kind of hear a little bit on the numpad, and then a little bit on this left side of the board. So I think this definitely could be okay with something like, if you did like a force break mod type of thing, like where you apply like a little piece of like anything, like a little pad, like from those like stabilizer pads, or just even like a piece of tape around like these edges of the board. It would probably get rid of a little bit of that extra resonance on the side. But towards the middle of the board, I don't really have that kind of resonance. But overall sound of the board is, I would say it's pretty good. Definitely the switches themselves right now are on the quieter side. Yeah. 2U numpad enter. I don't think I could use a non-2U numpad enter for me. I'm okay with splitting the 0. I'm okay with splitting the plus, but numpad enter actually for me is kind of a non-negotiable for numpads, at least. I've done like minus plus, like 1800 style for the plus key, and same with the 0 key being split. But yeah, numpad enter, I'd prefer the larger one. I meant the sound. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's a little bit of case resonance in there. Yeah, I think the shift key is definitely the most resonant one. But yeah, putting like a little force break could also probably help. Which we could do that actually right now. Do have some of those extra stabilizer pads to help it. Yeah. If you want to see what that's like. Okay. So what I usually do is, like you can use a piece of tape. Sometimes like even just like electrical tape or whatever you have around works. I prefer to use anything that's either like a fabric or like a small foam pad for it. Or in the case of electrical tape, it's also like slightly cushiony because of the thickness of the tape. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll use these. So these kind of come for free on like stabilizer kits, right? These guys. It's like the little stabilizer bottom pads or whatever that some people use, like using on their cases, like in their builds. I personally never use them, so I sometimes just save those for stuff like this. So Okay, just carefully remove the screws from here. Just make sure that we get them all. So no, I think that's most. Oh, I think I missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is, what I like doing is first. Okay, so based on the way this is, I think we can put it on the bottom case. So let's see. So I think we can probably, so like I think this is okay. We probably don't need a pad there. Actually, a pad on the top case might help for this part of the case. So like what I like doing is just like putting like a small piece of foam or anything works really, as long as it doesn't get in the way. This actually fits quite perfectly. So yeah, and then for the top case, I'll actually put one right there as well. And then to address the sides, since we have the space for the gaskets, I'll put one here. And I'll put one at the corner over here. Oops. Make sure you don't put it overlapping the outer edge, because otherwise it's gonna show. So there. Then I have an extra. Since I heard a little extra resonance on this side, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put in a random. Maybe I'm gonna do like right in the middle, and just like fold it over slightly, just so it doesn't pop up on the outer edge. That should be good enough. Okay. You got Oko Wob, JP, never mind Smooth Brain, that's all red. Yeah, I think it's it's basically Wob with red Japanese sub legends, right? Yeah. I think that should be good enough to address some of the resonance in the case. Probably. Yeah. So, close it up again. So if you didn't install too much material on it, it should close just fine. It shouldn't give you any issues closing the case. What's the key set? This is GMK Kaiju round 3. It's the most recent round of Kaiju that just shipped. Neflog ran a darker version of the set, which is basically black and orange. I think the orange is custom, but the black is just GMK stock black. Yeah. Yeah, good old force break. Yeah. So just do that, and I think that will probably address a good amount of the resonance in the case. Yeah. And then okay. So now let's see. Oh wait, let me pause the music so we can hear it. Yeah, there we go. No resonance. That sounds a lot better, actually. Yeah. All that resonance that was like very present on this side is gone with the force break, so. a lot better. So yeah, you know, when you have a lot of metal to metal contact, even with gasket mounts like this, sometimes the fitment is a little like extra tight, and so you know that can lead to that like metallic resonant sound. So like, you know, like this force break mod thing helps with that. But it depends on the case. There are some cases that already have like dampening between the case pieces, so you don't really need to do that. But yeah, I'll just type random words on this again. Yeah, so there it is. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend the, you know, force breakers kind of dampening over there for the edges of the case. But I think based on the way the spacebar sounds, I think the MX Black and polycarb plate specifically for this particular board is not as a strong combination. I think a louder switch will actually sound much better for the spacebar, especially. It sounds good, but I think a louder spacebar here would pop nicely. So whether you are into tactiles or long pole switches, I think would probably sound pretty good. But yeah. But if you're doing MX Blacks on this, I would say an alu plate here would sound really good. I think an alu plate with this gasket mount will sound pretty nice. Yeah. And then I would recommend a nice tactile for the polycarb. Yeah. So, but yeah, very nice looking board. I actually really like the layout. It's perfectly functional with the 60% portion basically being just a 60% and numpad whenever you need to. So, yeah. Keyword looks good. I wish they left those millings flat though. I think one of the aesthetic choices that they made, personally, I really like this one, the dividing line between the 60 and the numpad. I think that one looks nice. I think it's kind of cute. It almost looks like, this line kind of makes me think that I could just like grab the keyboard and break it off like a piece of chocolate. You know, it kind of gives me that like vibe. It's like, oh, I can just break the numpad off. Like, imagine if this were like just like, you know how like the plate and the PCB are standalone too, like they're just connected by the ribbon cable. Imagine if you could just like take it apart. That would be kind of sick. Anyway, the millings here, it's a design choice. They kind of were going for like more like industrial look, I guess. And like the industrial design sort of look, and so it's also with the kind of goes hand in hand with the logo part and the little engraving in the back, right? So it kind of goes with that. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a you know, like a subjective thing, and it's a, you know, aesthetic choice that they went for. I'm sure some people might not like it as much, but you know, it's just how it is. A lot of fingerprints because my hands are kind of clammy. But otherwise it's a very clean board. I like it. I think the layout choice is pretty great. It's definitely a little bit niche in the market. There's not many, like, I mean, there are boards just like this. Like the ASCII F by Frank was here in Umushiki. Like that one was 65 essentially with the extra, right? With the numpad stuff. And so, it's pretty fun. 60 plus numpad also fun, right? Yeah, like a W18T, right? Like people mentioned earlier, without the AT portion, right? But yeah, I think it's a very nice looking board. I like this brass weight style that they went for. Definitely side profile wise, it's more unique. It kind of separates itself from the rest. So I like the boxy look, but at the same time having this negative space from using the weight as the foot of the board. I think that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty sweet looking board. Nice workhorse type of board if you're interested. Pretty heavy though. Like this weight is supposed to be brass and copper, and it's pretty heavy. This is like 4 kilos, right? So it's quite a hefty board for what. Even if you had these independent from one another, like it wouldn't be nearly as heavy. But it's just a very long and thick brass piece, or copper piece, whichever you choose. But yeah, compatible with EC and MX though, so that's nice. Yeah. Let me see. So we can take a quick look at the, I guess maybe the group buy page now, right? Where is that? It's right here. So, do you have any Tic Tac to check the sizing? What do you mean? Oh, like an actual candy Tic Tac? No, I don't. I haven't bought any actual candy Tic Tacs in so long. No, I don't have any. Yeah. No, I don't. Tic Tac holder? No. Yeah. So let's take a look here. So, oops, I think that's kind of big. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's see. Actually, can I? Oh, I forgot that this keyboard right now isn't working, so I'm gonna just do a quick switcheroo here, so I can actually like use the working board here. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit there. So let's see. Base price for this board is $420. Blaze it. Again, the color that I have on stream is not representative of the actual group by unit colors. A little unfortunate. I think it's always nice to have a prototype that represents that, but the colors are standard. It's gunmetal, gray, black, and silver. Win-key or win-keyless. You know, EC or MX kits available. Looks like EC is still the same price. Weight material does not affect your price choice either, so it's $420 regardless. You can find a whole description of the board. 8-degree typing angle, seamless, 20mm front height, 25.5 for EKH. Gasket sock mounted, again, I think we have 40, 50, and 60 A for the hardness. I'm actually not sure with these gray ones what hardness these were, but yeah, different hardness, different stiffness for the gasket socks. You know, aluminum, copper, and brass. 3 kilos unbuilt, I would assume, probably like 3.5-ish fully built. And then yeah, QMK VIA compatible PCB by Sipulot, which is nice. And then comes with an aluminum plate and solder PCB with exposed copper finish. Expected to ship 7 months after completion of GB. So if you order it now, the group buy ends in mid-April. So if you order it now, 7 months would be basically end of the year to early next year. Okay, So it's you know, I would say 6 months to some more is pretty typical of a lot of group buys, like actual community held group buys. Yeah, so 420 for that. There's extras. PCBs are, depending, MX or EC are both $65 each. Compatibility shown over here, and then looks like there's no hot swap. Actually all solder only. I mean, obviously for EC you don't have to solder. Just FYI. And for plates there is, for MX there is aluminum, polycarbonate, stainless steel, and POM. Okay, so no carbon fiber, but maybe if the plate files become public, maybe you could do carbon fiber. But anyway, yeah. So you have two very soft materials, one in the middle and one much harder. For EC, I think it's stainless steel only. Yeah, stainless steel only. Also $65. So yeah. Aluminium, yes, aluminium. So pretty good. 420 honestly for this board is pretty well priced. Like considering the heft of the board, from the gigantic long thick piece of brass or copper and the 2-piece case, with a good amount of machining on there involved. I think it's in the right ballpark for the price tag. It's premium, but it's not like excessively premium. I think, like in terms of like, it's not a hefty premium to pay. Especially given the layout. Layout option wise, I think it's not super common. So if you're looking for this specifically, it's actually not a bad deal. I don't know how much shipping would come out to be. I would assume $50 to $60. I don't know. Yeah. So you know, you're like looking at like sub $500 board, which is not. It's not the cheapest for sure, but in the current day and age, I think, like, you know, from hobbyist, like, you know, hobbyist based, like enthusiast based designers and whatnot, it's in the right ballpark. Yeah, price wise. It's hard to make this cheaper. From our, like, you know, from like our enthusiast side perspective, I think, unless you're working with really large quantities or manufacturers who like operate at very, very slim margins on everything and like all that. So it's unlikely. So I think it's priced pretty well. Yeah. Assuming you have a unit from production menu, which I know you can't say. I actually don't know. I know it's a prototype, but I can't tell you whether it's from whichever manufacturer. I actually don't know. Don't know which manufacturer made it and whatnot, but I assume it's pretty close to what the production would be like. Anodizing quality wise though, I can tell you for sure, it's pretty smooth. Like the quality of anodizing is pretty good. There are some like smudges here and there, but I think that's just fingerprint magnet type of thing. Like I think it's just my hands are kind of clammy, and it attracts some fingerprints. Again, there's a black piece on the bottom, and so it does attract some fingerprints. This is an E-coat brass, by the way. This logos part is an E-coat brass, and it's coated quite well. The texture is slightly like chalky, but not like, it actually almost feels like it's anodized and sandblasted. It's really good E-coat. Very, very nice to the touch. It doesn't feel like an actual chalky, like, you know, it doesn't have that like powdery feeling. I hate that feeling of like certain coated boards. It's actually like one of the things I don't like about coated boards is that like powdery feeling. It doesn't have that. It's been very nicely textured. So in terms of the black E-coat, it's really nice. But yeah, quality of the anodizing itself is pretty good. I mean, I don't notice any streak. I mean, like the smudges that you notice are from like my fingerprints, or from other people or like whatever, right? Like it's from handling. But like quality of the anodizing itself though, it's pretty good. I don't see any flaws myself. Yeah, sharper corners. but it definitely has a very slight chamfer and fillet for the corners. So you won't be cutting yourself despite how like sharp and industrial it looks. Blockers look pretty good. The line here looks nice. It's a nice design. Bezel proportions look pretty good too, I would say. Not super thin on the sides. Slightly thicker at top and bottom. Looks to be equivalent, top and bottom. And actually it gives you the illusion that this bezel is smaller, but I think it's about the same as this. Yeah, because of the line. It's good ano. It's good anodizing quality. Yeah, it's a nice board. I think for the people looking for the layout, it's worth a consideration. Definitely wouldn't dismiss it if you're in the market for something just like this one. But yeah, okay. Hold on, give me a sec. Okay, so but yeah, one last show of the board here. So there it is, the logos from Antipode Studio. 60% plus numpad. Looks pretty clean to me. And I think it's a good purchase if you're in the market for it. I think it's a nice looking board. Yeah. Here is the bottom. It says logos very nicely, and it's a pretty clean design. So if you're in the market for something that's like a workhorse value, sort of like nice and clean industrial like design, I think this is a solid purchase. And I think it sounds pretty good. Definitely choices of switches. It's a very variable thing. Everyone's different. But I think long poles would actually sound pretty good too for this gasket mount. The implementation of the gasket mount is done pretty okay. Like it's done nice and clean. No fitment issues. No fiddling around. No. Yeah, sure. I think the only inconvenient aspect was the ribbon cable, but you do it once and you don't have to do it again. It's long enough that you can fold it slightly and it'll like stay in place. So, yeah. All right. I guess that's about it for today. I can wrap things up here. I do need a keyboard to raid. To raid another person. I think this one just isn't currently flashed, which is why. Actually, something to compare. So this is a pretty chonky TKL, and this is a Stratum 80 that we built last time. This one, the logos is about maybe 0.25U off from being about the same length. So it kind of gives you perspective. It's a little longer than a TKL, than a fairly big TKL. So maybe compared to a standard TKL, it's maybe like 1U bigger in length. So yeah, 1U, one something. So on the long side, for this layout. Can you share some upcoming projects you'll review? Yeah, of course. So one of the exciting builds that I have coming soon, later this month in March, I will be checking out the Seal 80. That's from Sensi Lab. What's unique about that one is that they offer PCB options for non-MX, ALPS, NMB Space Invader style. I think Omron, a bunch of other things, SMK, you name it. I will probably be doing a non-MX build for that. That was my choice in terms of like talking to a designer. We talked about vintage stuff, and I thought it would be cool to feature a non-MX thing. So I'll probably be doing a non-MX build for that. So I'm pretty excited for that because it's just atypical. It's something I don't do often. And so yeah, non-MX is always kind of exciting in its own way. It's very niche, the community is not like really into non-MX stuff as much, I would say, like non-MX, non-EC, but I think it's exciting nonetheless. Later in April, there's a board called the Slate Zero by a maker in Southeast Asia called Atelier Magnus, and they made a board that is 0-degree typing angle, but I think you can adjust. I think there's like a riser sort of situation, but it started as Slate Zero in the sense that it's a 0-degree typing angle. It's like a flat board on its base, like at the baseline, and then you can like change it. But anyway, that I thought that one's 60%, I believe, and that will be like around mid-April. I obviously haven't received the board or anything, so I can't tell you much more than what I saw on like the brief. So those two are the next two review pieces I think that I'm 100% sure I'm looking at. There are some other things that I think I need to finalize, but it's not confirmed, so I tend to not talk about it unless it's confirmed. But those two are 100% confirmed, so but those should be in like in the coming it's, what is this, March 21st, so in the coming 3 weeks or so you'll be seeing both of those probably. Yeah. Space Invaders Cool Dacious Keycaps. Yeah, so I actually I don't have SI boards myself, actually. I actually don't have any OEM Space Invader stuff. I never collected it myself. I have Alps, I have MX, I have buckling spring, things like that. I have toe braid, right? I didn't collect NMB, SI, because I know people who do, and I genuinely enjoyed going to a meetup and just checking them out there. So I am going to be, I actually asked a community member in the vintage community to basically borrow parts from them, and so they were very gracious to provide keycaps with the switches and stabilizers corresponding to them, that they had a spare to harvest from, and so they were very kind to provide switches and keycaps for that. I think it's like an ISO, maybe German layout, maybe either German layout or UK layout. It's one of the two, but standard ISO layout, which is much more common than ANSI and Space Invaders. Space Invaders don't really have ANSI. There is ANSI, but it's uncommon, very uncommon, and it's a little different. Like you'll have like step keys and like other things like that. But yeah, so it'll be probably an ISO layout build with, I think we have either clickies or linears. I think he sent both types of switches. So yeah, pretty excited. Yeah, NMB great. I have clicky blacks. Yeah, they're all great. I think NMB switches frankly super cool. I think like different generations of different kinds. They're pretty nice though, the switches themselves. So. But pretty excited to try that. I definitely have never tried a Space Invader custom, so kind of excited to see what it's like. I won't have an OEM board to compare it with, unfortunately, but the whole point of the build is just going to be like trying something new. So pretty excited for that. Yeah. Okay. I think I guess I'll wrap things up here, right? Oh, did I forget to plug this in? It's just my cable. Okay, there. All right. So let's wrap it up here. Let me check if there is oh, Kiwi. Oh, you guys hear that? That's Kiwi. Is there any? I don't think I see any keyboard people. Oh, there is Miguelio Keyboards doing some work over there, so we can shoot it over there, and wrap it up. All right, let's see, Miguelio Keyboards. Oh, Kiwi is hungry, so it's time to feed Kiwi. Okay, I'm gonna go feed Kiwi, but other than that, I'll see you guys. I'm actually not sure when I'll see you. I don't have a specific schedule for the next stream, but it'll be soon. Okay. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good rest of your weekend. It's probably won't be this weekend, so have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good time, and take care. I'll see you all later, and thanks for coming by. Bye. Bye, JC. Bye, Conan. Bye, IBM. Bye, Silly. Bye, Igor. Goodbye, goodbye. Thank you. And Lago Bear, hi and bye.